Hi everyone, I'm Frank from the City of Gamers, and today I'm playing Bunny Kingdom. Now, quick, don't run away, just hang on a second. Bunny Kingdom was a game that, honestly, when I was at Gen Con a few months ago, I kind of saw it and I just walked on by. It just didn't appeal to me at all. It kind of looked just not the right kind of game for me. But my goodness was I surprised, to a point that I actually played a demo and then I went back and bought the game a little bit later. And not only that, but I ran the next morning to make sure that I could get one of the few copies they had available. That evening I played it with another group of people and they looked at me and said, "We don't want to play that," but I convinced them to play it. And then the next morning we were running back to get them a copy as well. And both of us have played this game a lot since Gen Con. I would say that actually since Gen Con, this is the game I've played the most. And why is that? Because it's just a simple game to play, but there's a lot of hidden complexity. You can make the game as hard as you want it to be. So that's enough of that. Just bear with me and have a look. If you've not watched any of my videos before, we're doing this one slightly differently. In the description below, because this game is played over 4 rounds, you'll see there's a link to the start of each of those rounds, and there's also going to be a link to the scoring part of the game. So if you don't want to watch the whole game and you just want to see how it kind of progresses through the different rounds, then you can use those links to skip forward. So with that said, let's get going. As you can see, the board is set up and there's not many pieces to this game. There's a huge deck of cards and oh my goodness, like there's a lot of cards in this game, and it's a drafting game. So you're going to take cards, you're going to play cards and pass them around. You can see the board as a 10 by 10 grid. So we've got A to J and 1 to 10. We've got a scoring track to the side. And today we're playing with the pink team and a yellow team. I mean, the pink team is gonna win. It's the closest color to purple in this game. So my goodness, these are the ones I'm rooting for. You can see there's a few tokens up here. And as we get into them, I'll kind of explain them. We've got a few plastic buildings over here, but really, there's not too much you need to know. There's different types of terrain, and really what we're doing is we're drafting cards to put rabbits and pieces onto the board to try and create combinations that are going to score us points. The game's played over 4 rounds, and in each round you're going to get a different number of cards depending on the player count. As we're playing with 2 players, we're going to get 10 cards each. So as I'm just dealing these out, we're going to just start playing. We're going to see what happens, and it turns out it's really hard to count to 10 whilst talking, so I don't know why I tried. I'm thinking there's probably 10 cards here. Obviously, in a real game, you're going to have 2 players and they're going to be choosing their cards independently and then they're going to pass them round. For us, because it's all going to be me, we're just going to talk about it openly. So you can see here there's different types of cards. I've got coordinate cards here, and I always like to just put them into order just to make it a little bit easier for myself and the people who we pass the cards onto. So you can see here that I've got 5 coordinate cards here. I've got a city card, and this is a level 3 city, which means it has to be placed on a mountain. I've got some gold, which is a one-off resource. So if I use the gold, I take the token from here and I put it onto the board. I've got a wood, fish, carrot kind of multi-purpose token. So there's a couple of these in the board which allow you to choose which resource you want at a specific time. And then I've got a parchment, which is an end of game scoring card. And then I've got another unique resource. So actually I've got a lot of special resources. These are quite rare in the game. So I'm thinking that I probably want to start taking those early on. I'm going to really go for a heavy strategy of kind of board domination. So I think I'm going to start by taking those 2 cards. So I'm going to place them down, face down in front of me, and I'm going to pass the other cards on. Yellow over here, on the other hand, they've got some coordinates, they've got some end of game scoring cards, they've got a camp, they've got more coordinates. I think that they're going to start going with probably building up some tiles, trying to find some stuff that's close. So H and I over here are 10s, are close to each other. So I think I'm going to take the H and the I, and I'm going to place those down. As we start playing a few turns, you'll kind of see how this kind of starts coming together and the purpose of what we're doing. So now both players at the same time are going to reveal their cards, and if you've got kind of building tiles, you simply take those tokens and you place them onto those buildings. At the end of the round, you can then construct them onto the board. If you've got coordinate tiles, then you simply place bunnies onto those locations. and you start to build up your fiefs. Now, your cards just go into a discard pile, but you can see here now I've got 2 adjacent bunnies, and this isn't worth any points to me. However, if I was to start building towns here as well, then points would start coming in, because your score for each fief is equal to the number of unique resources. So here I've got 2 wood, so that's 1 unique resource, multiplied by the strength. And the strength is equal to the number of towers on the buildings within that area. So currently it's 1 resource times 0 strength. If I had 1 building, it'd be 1 times 1, so I'd get 1 point at the end of each round. But more of that will kind of grow. So the cards are passing round, and we're going to start choosing more places to place our stuff. Now, as we've gone for 2 resources and they're both on mountains, I really want to hope that I can find a nice chunk of region where we're going to be near mountains. But really, there isn't too much here that's very useful. We've got G5, which is like in the middle of the board. G1, I guess, is close to the mountains. We've got C10, which again is kind of maybe close to some mountains over here, but it's not quite what I was hoping for. J6 is probably my best bet, because J6 is down here and this is near mountains. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take J6 and G5, and I'm going to start coming into this area, hoping that I can take these mountains. But I am going to be competing directly with Iello. But that's it, that's my choice. I'm going for those 2. And Iello is wanting to grow this region as well. Iello is looking for cards that are in this area. So D10 is close. D4 is kind of miles away. B8 is not in a great place either. A6 and B6, none of those are too useful. But there is a level 3 town, and that is something that's going to be worth a lot of points to me potentially, and a multi-resource location tile. So I think that I'm going to take those 2 for this turn and pass the cards on. So both players turn over their cards. Pink here has gone for J6 and G5. So J6 is going to be here, G5 is going to be here. So I'm now hoping that I can start joining these up. Whilst over on this side, we've gone for a level 3 city. And as you can see, there's only 3 of these available in the game. So once they're gone, and there won't be any more. And I've also gone for a multi-purpose resource. So that means I could add this to one of my tiles. I can put it around one of my bunny rabbits, and it will start producing one of those 3 resources, and I get to choose which one it is. So actually, that's not looking too bad for me right now. Like, it's always difficult in this game. It's one of those games where in the first round, you're really not getting many points. You're kind of setting your strategy and you're building your way up. But then as you progress through the game, you start to get more and more points. What you're probably going to notice is there's going to be a few times where I probably forget to pass the cards on. But that's fine. I think we've done it right here. So we're back with Pink, and Pink really wants to be kind of coming over here. We've got D10, which is over here, D4, which is a little bit far away from us, B8, B6, A6. None of those really are where I want to be. So maybe I want to take the end of game scoring card. So this one is 1 point for each parchment you have, including this one. So at the end of the game, for each of these I have, it's going to be worth a point. And I think that that might be a good plan for me. So I'm going to take that one. And perhaps not. Maybe I'm going to go for the A6 and the B6 over here. Because this is actually, B6 is a mountain, A6 is the fish next to it. So that's actually giving me a good area. So I'm going to go for those. I want to start building up connected bunnies. And you can get sky towers, and sky towers allow you to connect disjointed locations. So if I build up here a little bit and build up here a little bit, I might be able to join them up if that works out for me. So back to Iello, we've got our C10, we've got G1, and we've got a camp, and I'll explain that in a moment. Explorer, 3 points for each territory you control in the corner of the board. So if I had those 4 locations, that could be 12 points. Double the points from treasure that you receive. 8 points if you have the 5 with the most territories. So I think that I might go for 3 points for each corner, because I don't think C10 or G1 are really very useful for me. But I might also take the camp. So what the camp does is it allows you to build a temporary structure on the board, and you can use that to connect bunnies. And it's yours until the end of the game unless someone tries to build on that location. So I'm going to take the camp, and we're going to reveal over our cards. Now, something that's important to note is end of game scoring cards always just go face down in your area. So people know how many you've got, but they don't know what they are. And at the end of the game, this is where you start to add complexity, because if you take a lot of these cards, you're defining your own kind of level of like rules that you have to follow to get the optimum score. Whilst if you go mainly for coordinates and mainly for buildings, you're more doing kind of pattern building. So you can really define your play style. And I'm going to take the camp card. The camp's going to allow me to put a camp here at the end of the round. And now we're going to come over to this player who went for A6 and B6. So A6 and B6 here. I now have a fish and I have a mountain area. So that's feeling good for me because now I can put one of my special resources there at the end of the round. And if I get a town, I'm going to start scoring up some points. So that's actually worked out exactly how I wanted it. We're now going to have the next round. I've got G1, which is over here. I've got C10, which is over here. Neither of those are great. Double points for treasure. I don't have any treasures, but equally, I don't have any end of game scoring cards. So maybe I need to start thinking about this a little bit. 8 points if you have the 5 with the most territories. So that's the a kingdom with the most connected squares. So for me, I'm really aiming to build a big area. So maybe that's a good one for me to take. And then, because neither of these are really good for me, I'm going to take the one which I think is most relevant for someone else. So I think I'm going to take G1 because it goes on a wooden resource. And that means that if I get a card where you get points for how many wood or something like that, that could work out for me. So it's always good to try and optimize your choices based on what's good for you. If there's nothing good for you, what's good for someone else. And if neither of those two things are kind of there, then trying to predict what might happen or might become useful for you later on. Back to yellow, and yellow is looking at D10. D10 is possibly something we could get to towards the end of the game. D4 is like miles away and of no help. 1 point for each parchment I have. Now, I'm actually starting to build up parchment, so that could be something that becomes worthwhile for me. And I think actually I'm probably going to take that one. And then I'm going to take B8. I don't care about B8. B8 is useless for me. It's miles away, but I can see pink is in that area. And this is a tile that they definitely want. So I'm not passing that to them. I'm keeping it for myself. We reveal our cards. Our end of game scoring cards go into the piles next to us. And our coordinate cards come out. So G1 for pink, B8 for yellow. And as you can see, the cards come off. We're in the last round, so these ones just kind of happen by default. The end of game scoring card again comes out over here. We've got D4 and D10, sorry. So where are we going? D10 over here. We've got D4 over here, and then we've got C10 for yellow. So that's the end of the first round. And it's fairly straightforward. As you can see, I mean, all you're really doing is you're placing stuff on. And whilst this game from photos, it might look complicated later on when there's lots of stuff everywhere, you're actually slowly growing more and more across the board. And you're slowly kind of watching what happens. So the next option now is scoring. And I can place things on the board. Now, pink is going first, and pink has one building here with no resources around it. So there's no scoring. I can place these unique resources onto a mountain tile, but actually for me right now, that's not going to give me any points because again, there's no cities or towns nearby. So all I'm doing is I'm kind of wasting those resources because I might end up being huge over here and I want to use these resources over here. So I'm actually just going to save them. I'm not going to spend them. And for scoring in this round, I'm going to get no points. As I say, your scoring is equal to unique resources times by the number of buildings in a connected area. And pink doesn't have that. So pink is getting 0 points. Now, yellow, on the other hand, is a little bit different. Yellow has the ability to do a few things. We can put down a camp. A camp would allow us to connect up some tiles. But these are already connected and these are too far away. We can have our multi-resource tile. So I could put that here and we'd have 2 resources. But again, that's not going to score me points because there's no towns. And then the city, I can only put this on mountains. And I've not managed to find a mountainous region that I can go on. So actually, at the end of this round, neither player are going to build any of their things. And both players are going to score 0 points. Now, You might be thinking that that's pretty awful, but actually what I find is it's one of those games that in the first round you normally score kind of 1 to 5 points. The second round you might get kind of 10, and then the third round you might kind of get to the 30s or 40s, and then in the last round you might get 100 plus points. So actually it's absolutely fine if you have a low scoring first round. So let's start the second round, and again we're going to deal out another 10 cards to each player. So we're now going second out of the 4 rounds, and what you'll see is the game will start to things will start to fall into place, things will start getting more complicated, decisions will start getting harder, and the players will have to start adapting their plans. Obviously, if there was more than 2 players, we'd now start passing the cards around the other way, but as there's only 2 players, we're just going to continue the same way. So Pink, again being the nice player that they are organising their cards and they're putting them into some sort of system for us to be able to look at. Again, you don't need to do this, but it's just friendly and fun. So we've got a couple of, interesting. So we've got I7 and I8. I7 and I8 are 2 mountains right next to where we are. So, I mean, I feel like that's a done deal, isn't it? I mean, there's going to be nothing else in here. We've got some treasure, which is 1 point if you have just this card, 4 points if you also have the kind of the left glove, the matching card. We've got a level 2 town, which would be really useful so we can start building up points. But, I mean, that, oh my goodness, there's 2 cards that we desperately wanted there, so I don't think we're going anywhere else with that. Iello, on the other hand, is thinking that they need to start getting a few things as well. So what are they going to go for? Let's have a quick look here. So we've got some grid cards. This is where you see how good I am at my alphabet. Hopefully I've got these in the right order. So we've got 2 1 city cards. We've got an end of game scoring 2 points for each territory you control without a city or resource. So a territory in this game is just a square. So these are territories, but they have resources. These are territories, but they don't have resources. So this is actually potentially worth 4 points for me right now. And I've also got that one earlier, which gives me 1 point for each card I have. So that could be good. I've also got this unique resource card, which gives you a unique resource on water, and I am close to some water, so that might work out for me as well. Tile-wise, what have we got? We've got I9. That is perfect for me. That's right next to where I am. We've got H4. We've got G7, which is close by as well. We've got D8, which is a little bit further down. C9, which again is further away, but actually C9 is really good for me over here. Oh, that's a tough decision. Like, C9 seems good as well. And then 2 points for each territory. So I'm torn between these 3 cards. I mean, I feel like I definitely want I9. C9, I mean, I feel like we want to connect that up as well. That could be really good. The 2 points for each territory you control without city or resource. Hopefully that will come back to me. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So we're going to turn over our cards, and this has been a good round for both players. I think we've got I7 and I8 over here for Pink, which is really starting to build up a good possible kind of situation over here. And then we've got I9 here, which is going to start giving Iello some points. And we've got C9 down here. Now, this now means that this is going to start scoring at least 1 point for Iello, and Iello has the ability to start building on this. Unfortunately, as Pink managed to take these mountains, we're not going to make much use of this over here, but we might be able to start growing in this area. So we'll see what happens. The cards are swapping by, and we're coming back to Pink. Pink is thinking that, what do we want? What do we want? We want some towns. We want to be able to start building up towns to get some points. A1 is over in that corner that's not much use to us. D8 is kind of over here, which isn't great for us. G7 is here, which is okay. H4 is over here, that's not great. So this Pearl one could be interesting because I do have someone down here on some water, and I do have the mountain. So potentially this is a good region if I can grow that up. I think I want to take the Pearl, and I want to take a level 1 town because I need to start scoring some points. So that's going to be it for Pink. And Iello is wondering, what am I going to do? What am I going to take? These just isn't great for me. 1 point for having this. I mean, if I get combination, then maybe it could become more points. But right now, it doesn't feel good. The level 2 town feels really powerful. Is there anything else coordinate-wise? We've got A3 over here. We've got B2. We've got D2. None of these are great. F7 is over here, which isn't too bad. We've got E10, which is interesting. E10 could be good. I mean, we'd trap off this bunny and it would stop pink getting the point. And we've got J2, which is over here. So I'm thinking the level 2 town is going to be useful. And I think really we want to take E10 just to start blocking off this pink one. And again, a lot of this is about what's good for you, what's good for them. How do I kind of bring those two things together? So we're now going to reveal, and we're going to get our another unique resource over here, which is, I mean, there's potentially a lot of points happening over here. And then yellow is again taking E10, which is coming down here, and also taking a level 2 town. So this is where it starts to stack up. And I need to check our end of game scoring cards. So we had 8 points for the fief with the most territories. And then over here, yellow had 3 for each territory in the corner, 1 for each apartment you have, and double the value from treasure. So actually we need to keep that in mind because those treasure cards could be worth good points to yellow. Okay, so where are we at? We've got A3, which again is not great. B2 is not ideal. I mean, A3 and B2 are close, but it's not brilliant at this point. D2 again, F7 is potentially okay, and J2. I mean, none of these cards are looking very good for us. So I feel like we're just going to take the D2 and B2, because if we happen to get some more cards around here, that potentially could become a good thing. But you see, there's magma here. So these magma lines mean that these two tiles aren't adjacent. So if I did end up here and here, I would have to go around to be able to connect these up. So actually, I think A3 and B2 are going to be my best option to potentially get something. Yellow, on the other hand, is thinking, I definitely want that 2 points for each territory I have without a resource. So I'm definitely taking that. Yellow is also thinking A1. I get 3 points for each tile in each bunny in the corner, so that could be good for me. I don't think any of the others are really going to work out. D8 over here is, I guess D8 could be useful. Maybe that could be okay. I mean, yeah, let's go for D8. So we're going to take D8, and we're going to take A1, and that's going to play up our tiles. So pink is taking A3 and B2, starting to grow over on this side of the board. And as you can see, really, pink is being quite sporadic right now. Pink is not in a great place. Whilst yellow is being a little bit more controlled. Yellow is focusing on kind of 2 areas and getting end of game scoring cards. So these are the kind of 2 of the core strategies I find in this game, where really you start to make decisions based on either your end of game scoring cards, such as going to that corner is worth 3 points to me, or you start to take as many resources and town things as possible, spread out, and hope by the end of the game you've managed to kind of create this giant kingdom. So right now, pink is taking a strategy that's not really working for them, but they're trying to kind of push it, whilst yellow, on the other hand, is actually in quite a strong position. So we've got 3 cards here, and we have 4 cards here. I don't know whether I've made a mistake somewhere with one of these. Possibly I just didn't deal out enough cards at the beginning. So I'm just going to draw 1 card from here and add it into this pile. This is what happens when I try and count cards and talk at the same time. Like, you probably shouldn't really do it, but you have to, you know, you need to keep those cards coming in. That's not ideal, so we'll just pretend that didn't happen. Pink has this new E2 card. So E2, I mean, it's not great, but it's definitely taking the level 1 town card. So level 1 town is a definite must for pink. And then where are we going to go? Are we going to go for H4, which is not great? Are we going to go for G7, which is equally not great? Or are we going to go for E2, which is equally not great? My goodness. I think H4 is at least close to one of my cards. So I think we're going to go for H4, and yellow is going to come back. Yellow is thinking like, well, D2, maybe I could take that and start blocking off this area, but I'm not really caring too much. F7's not too great for me. J2 equally isn't too great for me. So it's time to take the treasure. I mean, at least this is worth a point, and equally it gets doubled because I've got the treasure card, so it's going to be worth extra points at the end of the game. So I think I'm going to take that one, and then I'm just going to take D2 just to deny pink from taking that card. So we will flip over our cards. We've got another level 1 town coming over here. We've got H4 coming through here. That goes onto the carrot tile. And then yellow is going to be taking end of game scoring. And you can see these end of game scoring cards are really racking up. And is also going to go to D2. So one of the things I find with this game as well is that when you play with 4-player, then the strategies really start to shine even more, because you get more and more of these kind of end of game scoring cards coming up. You get more of the locations coming up, so people can really start to refine more stuff. When you're playing with 2 players, you're getting less cards flowing through, so the options become a little bit more restricted, and you need to be a little bit more focused on what you're doing. So I would say at this point, yellow feels like they're in a much more powerful position, and pink is a little bit more dependent on randomness. So the last 2 cards come over. We've got J2 and we've got F7 coming over here. And for yellow, we've got G7 and E2. So G7 is going to be here and E2 is going to be here. Sorry, that's A2. E2 is going to be here. I mean, looking at it now, G7 probably could have been a bit better for pink, actually, but we didn't notice that. So, you know, this is the kind of stuff that comes through and happens. So that's the end of the second round, and now it's time to start building stuff up. And we really need to start getting some points. It's really difficult because pink really wanted to build this stuff here, but hasn't been able to connect it up. I mean, if I can get 2 unique resources here, or 1 unique resource in the level 3 town here, that's going to start scoring me some good points. And I could always push this up to a level 1 town, and likewise over here. So I like, oh my goodness, I mean, I could put the pearl over here, which would give this like a 2, and maybe putting the pearl on here is going to be a good starting point. So then I can put one of my level 1 towns over here, and that starts to give me at least a little bit of a basis of a connection over there. At this point, I mean, again, we could put a level 1 town in a resource, but it's going to be 1 point. And 1 point isn't worth wasting these right now. It's not enough. So we're going to hold out and hope that that level 3 city comes in. So we're going to score up for pink, and pink's got a fish and a pearl. So that's 2 unique resources, has 1 tower. So that's 2 times 1. So that's simply just going to be 2 points for pink. But that's a lot more points than we got in the first round. Yellow, on the other hand, is in a slightly stronger position, I feel. Yellow can start really building some stuff up. So potentially we could put this here, and this would give us a second resource. We could choose it as a carrot or a fish. And I feel like this is a good plan because there's no carrots in this region. So even if we get the fish, this could switch over and always be a carrot. So I feel like that's going to be a good starting point. So that's going to be wood and a carrot times 1. So that's going to be 2 points for yellow. And now I'm kind of thinking, is there anywhere I can put this camp? Or actually, oh, let's not score that yet. Maybe we put the level 2 town here as well. I mean, if we put the level 2 town there, then we're really starting to get a few points. And I think that's going to be a better option. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3 times 2. So wood and carrot times 3 strength. So that's going to be 6 points. As I say, like, we've got the camp. And the camp could be used to start joining things. Now, ideally, I'd like to join all of these, because if these were joined, we could start doing a lot of stuff. But because of the magma, I have to go round. So putting a camp here isn't actually going to really help me. The level 3 town, it could go here, but again, there's no resources. There's no resources over here. So I feel like I'm going to hold that back. But we did score some more points. We've got 2 that time, and we've got 6. So this time I'm going to just count out the cards. We're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hopefully that we've got 10. Let me just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's looking good for yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's looking good for pink. So round 3 begins, and now we're kind of halfway through the game, and as you can see, things are starting to build up. We're starting to grow the board, we're starting to get a few points, and our strategies are coming into place. We need to keep in mind our end of game scoring. So pink is still looking to have that kingdom with the most territories in it. Yellow is looking for everything. Yellow is looking for points for the corner of the board, 1 for each of these cards, doubling the treasure, 2 points for territories that don't have any resources, and 1 point. So looking for the left glove would be giving us a lot more points as well. So yellow is really there with some good goals. And this is where we start kind of optimizing decisions, because if a card isn't going to be good for where we are, we can look to see if we can put it into a corner for points for yellow, or if there's no corners, perhaps we put it onto a tile that has no resources, so it scores the other card. So yellow's starting to get lots of decisions where there's kind of optimal play, suboptimal play, poor play, deniable play, whilst pink is just a little bit crazy. And pink is thinking, I just really want this to work out for me. I've taken a bit of a gamble, and I really, really hope that something works out. So we're just going to sort the cards out again. And as I say, I just like to do this. It just makes life easier. And let's have a quick look. So we've got H8. H8 is here, which could be really good for pink. That's going to be a great card to start spreading out. We've got G10. G10 is not great for pink, but it would be good for yellow. And G9, which would be really powerful if we let that go through to yellow. We don't want yellow to connect up all of these things. G6, which again is going to be good for yellow. D7. D7 is also going to be good for yellow. That's starting to connect up over here. A4 is good for pink. This is going to start connecting pink up. A2 is also good for pink. This is going to start giving pink that ability to build the mountain resources, because we're actually then going to have four bunnies connected with a level 1 town, a wood resource here, and a mountain resource. The sky tower. Wow, okay. So the sky tower allows us to take the tower and connect 2 locations. So pink could actually connect this location to that location and get that the triple mountain connected. That's really powerful for pink. 3 points for each luxury resource you produce. So pink is actually, we've taken 2 of these and we've got 3. So that's actually 9 points for pink. So that's a huge card. And then 1 for each wood you produce, which currently I think is worth like 2 points as well, but 3 points and could be more. So these cards are amazing. Wow, this is a difficult decision. I think H8 here is a good bet for pink. I don't think G10 is great, but obviously we want to kind of deny G10 and G9. We've got A2 and A4 over here, which again are equally good for pink. The sky tower is good for pink. The luxury resource is good for pink. So pink needs to choose 2 of these 5 cards. And wow, that's a tough decision. I think coming here, so H8 would be nice because it would give us more space, but I don't feel like it's a requirement. A2 here connects these up, which I think would be really strong, because being able to connect this up to this one with the sky tower, that could be really powerful. So I think that we're going to take the gamble. We're going to go for A2 and we're going to go for the sky tower, and we're going to hope that yellow has equally good options, that they kind of don't want to take the other cards that we need. Yellow, on the other hand, my goodness, like it starts to build up so much, and you start to get all of these decisions, and you start kind of praying that the other players aren't going to be taking what you want, and it's, oh my goodness. You can see how this game kind of comes together, and I think it's really interesting. It's really clever how you add that kind of dynamic. Yellow's got so much more complexity from choosing these cards. So we've got J9, which is fantastic for yellow. We've got I6, which isn't so great. We've got I4, which again isn't perfect. We've got H5, which is good for pink. We've got H2. We've got F6. F6 is not ideal either. Level 2 town and a level 1 town, and that could be really powerful for us. We really want to be able to grow up our connections. Provisions allows you to just draw 2 cards and play them, so that's kind of like a gamble card. It's a little bit more interesting. It could be good. Right now I don't think it's great. And then 2 points for each carrot you produce. So currently yellow is only producing 1 carrot, this is producing a carrot, so that's 2 carrots, so that's 4 points. We get 1 point for having a parchment, so that would be 5 points just as a single card. I think J9 is a good option for us, and I think the level 2 town is a good option as well. I feel like we need to start building up our kind of empire a little bit and just trying to spread out some with yellow. So that's a really good hand for yellow. Pink is going for the sky tower, so we take the corresponding color, and again we can place that at the end. Pink is also going for A2. And I feel like that's become quite a powerful turn for both players. And there's some really strong cards in here. So we need to be careful that we're taking the cards that are good for us, but also taking the cards which are not going to be like what the other player wants. So look at this, I6, which was terrible for yellow, is literally the optimal card here for pink. That connects this up, and there's no carrots over here. So if we can connect these with the Sky Towers, I mean, that's just a definite card. I4 is rubbish, H5, H2, F6 we're not too fussed about. Level 1 town or 2 for each carrot. Now pink is currently doing 2 carrots as well, 3 carrots, so that's 6 points for pink. So actually I think that that could be good. But if we connect this kingdom, and we're going to have 2 unique resources on this kingdom, plus the wood, which is 3, plus the carrots, which is 4. So maybe we actually want to take the level 1 town so we can get extra points each round. So, 5 points at the end of the game, that might become 7, it might become 9, or 5 points this round, 5 points next round. It's hard to know what's going to work out best, but those are decisions you're kind of making. Yellow is really excited to see what kind of comes over as well. That horrible pink guy didn't organize the cards. Oh my goodness. So H8 here, and G10 here, and G9 here. So G10 and 9 over here are looking good. D7, A4, I don't know if they're really what we want. 1 for each wood is worth some points, 3 for each luxury resource. I think we're going for G10 and G9. Connecting these up starts to give us quite a good empire. So we're going to reveal these cards over, and we've got another level 1 town coming over here. We've got I6 for pink, and pink is really ecstatic about that. I mean, that's fantastic news. Yellow is G10 and G9, and I mean, you can see now that these connections are starting to form. Things are starting to come together, and our players are both really starting to kind of optimize their paths. The cards switch over, and pink is thinking, did I get the cards I wanted? And yes, look, they came back. A4 is still here. The 3 points for each luxury resource is still here. D7, I don't think we wanted D7. I don't think we wanted G6. I don't think we wanted H8. I think that these 2 cards for pink are just a must. They're going to be so many points just by default. So that's an amazing hand that pink's glad they came back. But it was hard because yellow wanted to connect this up. Yellow could have denied them, but would have lost this ability. So, it's a tough choice. 2 points for each carrot has come back to yellow, and yellow's wondering, well, that is going to be worth at least 4 points for me. Sorry, 5 points for me. It could be worth more at the end of the game. 2 random cards is a little bit random. I mean, obviously that's the point. F6 isn't great. H2 isn't great. H5 isn't great. I4 is not great either. I mean, it could be good for pink. But I think that we're going to do the 2 points for each carrot, and we're going to do the gamble. We're going to take the 2 random cards. So we resolve these cards. End of game scoring comes over here for pink, which is fantastically powerful. And then we're going to take A4 over here as well. So coming back to yellow, we're looking again, end of game scoring, and provisions just happen straight away. So we discard that. We take 2 cards, and they're both end of game scoring. 3 for each treasure you have. So that's going to be worth some points for us. And 2 for each wood you produce. So that's worked out really well for us because we've got 1, 2 wood over there. We've got another wood over here. So actually that's 6 points. Plus 1 because it's a parchment, so that's 7 points. And this one I think is worth at least 4 points. So I think we've got at least 1 treasure, plus 1 for the card. So that's actually 11 points. So that gamble really paid off for yellow. We're coming back over here to pink. Pink is wondering, okay, what do I want? F6. Is F6 good for me? That's okay. H2, is H2 going to be any good for me? It's okay. H5 is going to connect these ones that might help later on. And I4 is here, and this starts to connect this area. So actually H4 and I5 mean that potentially if we get one of these 2 tiles, this whole region starts to join up. And we're looking at using the Sky Tower to connect to here. And this is going to give us a huge, huge region of stuff. So that's going to really, really, like, there's, it's randomness. There's a chance that we'll get the cards. There's a chance we won't get the cards. But it's looking good for us. Yellow, H8, is potentially okay at this point. I mean, it's not a great card, but it could help us grow. G6, potentially okay, but not as good as H8. D7, D7 is just not great either. And then 1 for each wood we produce. But we did get the 2 for each carrot we produce and 2 for each wood we produce. So maybe just taking the 1 here, D7, which is on a carrot, could become worthwhile for us. Because if we join this up, it's a carrot, but it's also going to be 2 points. The 1 for each wood we produce is going to be a guaranteed 1, 2, 3 points. And we've also got the 1 for each thing, so that's a 4-point card. So I think that that's going to be a good card for us. And then G6 or H8. I think H8 is probably going to be a slightly better thing. D7 is going to be points. So I think we're just taking D7 here and we're passing the cards on. And as you can see, for yellow, this pile of end of game scoring cards is adding a lot of complexity to what I'm doing, whilst pink is still focusing on that one specific goal. Can I connect up my entire empire and get optimal high scoring from just being on the board? And that's the difficulty of this game. That's the interest, and that's where you define your own difficulty. It's the thing that, as I said at the beginning, I find that people get kind of impressed by in this game, because you find that you can make it really complex, but equally you don't have to. There's nothing really hard about what pink's doing. They're just choosing squares that are near each other, whilst yellow is defining this much more kind of efficient point scoring system. But I have no idea who's going to win. So we're getting to the end of this round. The last 2 bunnies are coming out here, G6 and H8. That's actually worked out well for pink. So again, we took those cards for yellow, but maybe we would have been better off denying some cards there from pink getting them, because I feel like that for pink has just created a really powerful situation. We've now got loads of space for adding these little towns and all of the other things that they want to do. So yellow, H2. H2 is going to be sitting over here. That's the carrot tile. F6. F6 is coming in here, which isn't great, but I do get points for resource tiles that don't have resources. So again, that could be good. And now we have some thinking to do. Pink feels like it's time to finally try and connect up some of this stuff. Pink can start putting these resources on. So if pink puts these 2 on here, then this is going to give us 2 unique resources. We then can start using the sky tower, and if we put the sky tower here, we can connect the sky tower to over here. So suddenly now this is one adjacent region, and we could really do with this square. If we manage to get H5 and connect these in as well, this is going to be a huge amount of points. So pink now really is just kind of, let's put some towns on. Let's just start building up the amount of strength we've got. We don't want to put it on the mountain, because the mountain is where we can put level 3 stuff. So let's just put it on the plain area, somewhere simple that's got nothing special. So suddenly pink has now placed all of those towns, all of those cards. Everything's gone. And it's time to count some points. So this is the one problem with this game, is like you do get to a point where the counting can become quite complicated, because you're trying to work your way over all of the things. But if you just follow it around, it's simple enough to do. He says, knowing he's probably going to get this wrong. So over here, we've got 2 resources and 1 strength. So that's going to be 2 points, the same 2 points as we've got last time. And then over here, we've now got this connected to this area. So we've got 1 strength here. And then in this area here, we've got 2 and 3 strength. The unique resources over here, we've got wood, and then we've got gold, we've got our metal, and we've got carrots. So that's going to be 4 resources with 3 strength. So that's going to be 12 points, putting us up onto 16. And then over here, we've got 1 strength, and we've got carrots, and we've got fish. So that's going to be 1 times 2, which is another 2 points. So you can see how suddenly we got a bunch of points coming in there for pink. Now yellow, on the other hand, yellow really needs to start working out where the points are coming from. So we've got a few things over here. I mean, we could put this level 2 town here, and I think that's going to be really helpful. It's on a plain area, so it's not going to give us, like, we're not going to get special cards for that. But can we use the camp? Do we want to use the camp? Now, we could put the camp here, and it would connect these tiles up, and it would give us an extra set of points. But it's not guaranteed. We can't connect this area up because of the cities. So I think that the best option for us really is just to put that camp in there and to do this, and then to use that camp card up. Now, we're really hoping that we can put this level 3 mountain in next round. We have to get that on there. And the reason I put the camp to the side is because there are scoring cards dependent on how many camps people have, and it's fair to kind of put them here rather than having to make you count them on the board. It just makes it a little bit simpler. So yellow is now going to score up, and yellow is getting no points for anything over here. Yellow is getting no points for anything over here, but this area is scoring up for yellow. So we've got the fish, we've got the carrot, we've got the wood. So this is a free resource area. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 strength. So that's going to be 21 points, putting us up to 27. And this is interesting. So even though pink went for the giant 5 for the giant kingdom and didn't do many end of game scoring cards, he's still behind, whilst yellow's got all of these end of game scoring cards and is also outdoing pink on tile placement. So I think right now we're about to start the 4th round, but I'm really positive that yellow is going to win this by a long way. And you really do have to focus on end of game stuff as well as your position stuff. So let's just count out the cards. So we're going for 2, we're going for 3, we're going to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can see, having made a mistake that first round, I don't want to do it again. So let's just make sure. I think we're looking good there. So the last round, the final round, and then the end of game scoring cards are going to come in. Pink is terrified. Pink is not in a good place right now, and it's really hoping that something good is going to come out. So let's have a look to see what options we've got here. Okay, so tile wise, we've got B4. B4 is okay for us. We've got E7, which isn't really too useful. We've got G3, which again isn't too useful. And we've got E1, which isn't too great. We've got a camp. Now, a camp would allow us to connect these up. So that is a super useful, powerful opportunity for us. That could really change the course of the game. So that might be a good card. We've got the ability to turn something into a carrot, but we've already got a carrot in our main region. We've got 15 points if you have at least 5 carrots. Okay then, so how many carrots is pink currently producing? Pink's producing 1 carrot here, 1 carrot there, 1 carrot there, 1 carrot there. So that's 4 carrots. So this is potentially 15 points for pink. Wow, that feels like we should probably go for it. And actually we have that other card that gives us a carrot. So if that comes back to us, that could be really good. We've just got a 5-point card. We've got to just put some wood down there. 20 points if you produce 7 wood. So how much wood are we producing? We're producing 1, 2, 3 wood, producing 4 wood, 5 wood. Oh my goodness, and we've got a wood producing card. So if we got one more card that produced wood, then that could be 20 points as well. Now you see, this is where it gets interesting for us, because the camp would be good. But if we can take these 2 cards, yellow doesn't know they're in the game, and this is potentially 35 points if we can get this right. So I feel like those are 2 cards that we have to take at this point. We want to connect stuff up, but we really need to get some powerful cards. So that means we really need to get 2 more wood and another carrot before the end of the game. But yellow doesn't know that. So yellow is now going to look at their cards. And what has yellow got in here? Let's just organize these out. Wow, they're mainly just coordinates. There's nothing too great in here in terms of scoring cards or anything like that. We've got 3 level 1 towns, which for yellow could be really powerful. For pink, that could be really good. We've got I2, which is over here. We've got J10, which is this corner tile. That is good for yellow. That's 3 points for the corner location and gives us another spot that might be good. We've got H7, which isn't too useful. H6, which again isn't too useful. We've got G2, which isn't too useful. We've got D9, which connects them. D9 is the card we wanted so long ago, and now, oh my goodness, I guess we can still try and go for it, but it's not great. And we've got A10, which is another corner tile, which would be another 3 points for our thing. So A10's not useful for pink. J10's not useful for pink. So I don't feel like we need to kind of gamble on those too quickly. I don't think that pink cares about those tiles. But my goodness, I think that the D9 is something which could be really useful for us. And I think taking one of the level 1 town cards as well could be really useful. So pink is just going to hide these away. Pink knows I now need a carrot and I need 2 wood. And that potentially is the difference between me winning the game and losing the game. Yellow is now going to reveal the cards. And yellow is looking at getting a level 1 town, which is just going to add more points. And D9. D9 does connect this up, which means we do have the potential to get some points over here. It's not great, but it is a start. Pink is just praying those cards come back. And pink is thinking that they've got 1, 2, 3, 4 unique resources over in this area. Potentially connecting this up is 5. So this another 2 things would be allowed to another, let's speak in words, another 2 level 1 towns could potentially be 10 more points. J10 is no good to us. A10 is no good to us. G2 is not great for us. H6 is the tile that we wanted. Oh my goodness, what is the odds we were going to actually get that tile? That is fantastic news. And H7 is a connection for another town as well. Wow. I didn't see that when I was at yellow, but that has just played out so well for us. Wow, okay, that is potentially good. But with that said, we do need to get wood and we do need to get carrots, and none of these are going to give us wood or carrots. So that is a little bit of a worry for us. We've taken a huge gamble on those cards and we really need that to pay out. Yellow is coming back and yellow is looking at the cards. Yellow is thinking 5 points and I've got something that doubles these, so that's 10 points. So yes, that's a must for me. That's 10 plus points for me. B4 is not great for me. E7 is okay. It's not super amazing for me. G3, do I care about G3? No. E1, do I care about E1? E1 is wood, so that is a point for me. But really, what's going to be good for pink? Does pink need E7? E7's not great for pink. B4 is good for pink. So I think I'm going to deny B4 as well. So yellow is going to take that end of game scoring and is going to deny B4. They're going to stop pink from going into that fish territory. Whilst pink is going to take H7 and H6. And yellow is so upset that they let that happen. My goodness, that's such a big deal. Well, I'm... Like at the end of round 3, I was so sure yellow was going to win this, but now I'm really not entirely sure. So pink wants these cards back. Pink is grateful that the wood and the carrot has come back. I mean, they're just going to take them. Like, there's no doubt in Pink's mind. That's going to be a guaranteed 15 points for that carrot. Because we had 1 carrot, we had 2 carrots, we had 3 carrots, we had 4 carrots over here. So that's going to be 15 points. And we're still hoping to get that final wood token. Yellow is thinking... Okay, what am I going to do? I could take these 2 level 1 towns. That could be good, but the A10 and the J10 have come back, and I'm just going to take those because I just know at this point they're kind of going to be good points for us. And I feel like... But no, you see, J10 is going to be 3 points, but getting a level 1 town in here is going to connect this up even more, and that's going to give us another 3 points. But it's only 3 points, and we've got a level 1 town, so I don't know whether there's anywhere else we're going to put that. I mean, we could put it here, but it's only going to be 1 point. So I think the A10 and the J10 have to come out here at this point. We're going to reveal our cards. Oh my goodness, Pink is so happy with that. Pink is over the moon that this has come up. Yellow is also quite happy that these cards have come up because that is looking quite powerful. So we're now coming through to these last cards. We've got 4 cards left. Pink is thinking G2, no good. I2, no good. Double town? Yes, please. So Pink is happy with that. But yeah, Pink is definitely going with that. Yellow is wondering, what do I want? The camp. The camp allows me to connect these tiles up. That is going to potentially give me huge scores. That is a fantastic connection up here. Wow, okay, this is really getting interesting in this last little bit. E7 over here is another territory, which is just 2 points for me because I get points for having empty territories. G3 over here, again 2 points. E1 over here, again it's going to be 1 point. So I think I'm going to take E7 because it does team me up and it makes it a little bit more interesting. In case something comes up, just in case I get these opportunities. Pink over here is taking these 2 level 1 towns. Yellow over here has taken the camp and E7. So E7 comes into play. That second camp token comes into play. These final cards come into play over here. So yellow is going to be going to G2 here, and also yellow is going to be going to I2 here. And this is the interesting thing about these end of game scoring cards, is that having I2 for yellow is just a couple of points, so that's just helping out. The wooden token has come back for pink, so pink is equally excited about that, and G3 comes out as well. So that is the end of the last round. So we've now played all 4 rounds, we've gone through 40 cards, and it's time for us to put our last things on the board, do final scoring, and to see what happens. So pink needs to make sure this scores the most points possible. So both of these level 1 things that just need to come into play. They need to join us into this space. The level 3 towns never came out for this mountain, which is unfortunate. But we do have this extra carrot, and we do have this extra wood, which we do need to get into play. Is there anywhere where it's going to score us points? Because this already has a carrot. This already has wood. So this is not going to score extra points for being over here. But we only have this extra town here. So actually, I don't think there is, so I think that we're just going to add these into this space. We're just going to get them onto the board, and then we're suddenly going to be in a situation where we're feeling somewhat confident for pink. Pink is feeling quite happy. He's only got a few cards here, but they're big scoring cards. Yellow is going to be looking to place these final places, and that camp, wow, the difference that camp's going to make. Now this entire region is connected, and pink's wondering whether they've still got the biggest connection. The mountain is coming out onto here. That's +3 strength, and we can also add another level 1. So that's added so many points potentially to our thing. So now it's it. We need to do scoring. So let's count up pink on the board. So what has pink got? Pink has got, again, the 2 points for this area over here, which isn't looking great. But now we have this, man, like, my good, it's massive. I don't know the words to describe how big this is. We've got carrot, we've got fish, we've got wood. We've got 2 unique resources, so that's 5 resources. In terms of strength, we've got 1 over here. Then we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I believe that's all of them. So I believe that 7 times 5 is 35 points. That puts me on to 55. Yellow, on the other hand, is in a slightly different situation. Yellow is going to get no points over here. 1 point here for 1 times 1 is just going to be a single point over here. And then all of this, I believe, is now continuous as one giant structure. So let's count up our resources. There's no special resources, so we're only looking at 3 resources. But strength-wise, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 36 points. That's going to put us on to 64. So at the end of the 4th round, things are looking fairly close, but look how many end of game scoring cards yellow has here compared to pink. So now these come in, and now we get to see what's going to happen, who's going to win. I feel like it's still going to be yellow, but I really don't know. So let's have a look. Let's go through yellow's cards. Let's see what yellow has. So I'm just going to put them into their sections. So these are kind of literally just things for things. These are things for things. They're all things for things. So treasures, we've got 5 and we've got 6. We never got the left glove, but we do get double for the amount of treasures we have. So that's going to be 6. That's going to be 12 points. That's going to put us on to 76. But we also get 3 points for each treasure we have, which is another 6 points. So that's going to put us on to 82. we now get 2 points for each territory we control that doesn't have a city or a resource. So let's go through them. There's 1 here. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them, and I killed a bunny. So I think that there was 7, so that's going to be 14 points. That's going to put us on to 96. We then get 1 for each wood we produce and 2 for each wood we produce. So 3 for each wood we produce. So how much wood do we produce? We've got 1 here. We've got 2. We have got I think that's 3 wood that we're producing. So that's only going to be 9 points. But I mean, it's still 9 points. That's going to put us on to 105. We've then got 2 for each carrot we produce. How many carrots are we producing? We're producing 1 carrot here, 2 carrots here, 3 carrots here. We're on 3 carrots and we are on 4 carrots. And we are on 4 carrots there. So that's going to be another 8 points, which is putting on 13. And then 3 for each corner we have. And we have 3 corners. How did we manage that? It's another 9 points. That puts us on to 122. And then 1 point for each parchment we have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more points. That puts us on to 132 points. Now, one thing I want to point out at this point is not only is yellow totally trashing pink, but when you count up the tiles and the things and all the resources, you can just go through your resource pile. So if you want to, if you just want to go through here, you could be like 1 carrot, 2 carrots, 3 carrots, 4 carrots, and then you can go through these and you can see. So you don't have to do it by counting the board, but counting the board just makes you kind of make mistakes, and that's a little bit more fun because then people can judge you in comments and say, oh, you miscounted, there was an extra one and it's all invalid and you were playing for an hour and it was completely pointless. But it doesn't matter because we've had so much fun. We are on 132 points for yellow, 55 points for pink. We've got 4 cards. It's not looking good, but let's see. 8 points if you have the 5 with the most territories. That's going to be a difficult count. So yellow has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 bunnies in that kingdom. So pink has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I think that was 16, 16. So that's a draw. So I don't believe that scores. Wow. That camp was just devastating for pink. That's 8 points that we've just lost. 3 for each luxury resource, so we're producing 3 of those. So that's going to be 9 points. That puts us on to 64. 15 if you're producing at least 5 carrots. And I believe we are. We've got 1 carrot here, 2 carrots here, 3 carrots here, 4 carrots here, and 5 carrots there. So that is 15 points. That puts us on to 79. And then 20 if you've got at least 7 wood. And I think that we did decide we had that. So that's 1. Let's have a quick look. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Have we got a 7th one? I thought we did have a 7th one. Maybe I've got it wrong. So there's 1 there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so there are 7 there. I've just miscounted. I must have forgotten to count the token or something. So that is going to be another 20 points. That puts us on to 99. But the score difference there is actually crazy. And you can already see that this game, like, I love playing it. I get so much adrenaline. And I think this run through has taken about an hour. I've played this game 2-player in 25 minutes. 4 players normally takes 45 minutes to an hour. But my goodness, the options, the possibilities, and those end of game scoring cards, there's about 40 of them in the deck. I mean, we got through like what? Probably half of the deck there, and 4 players, you just about get through the whole pile. So there's so much more that can happen, so many more options that come in. And as you can see with yellow, like, we were just here going through all these cards, just thinking, what are we going to do? What's our options? What's our plan? What are we going to do? And pink was just going kind of, I'm just going to put stuff out, see what happens. We got a few big cards at the end, but it just didn't pay off. And arguably the score was, what, 99 to 132? So there's a huge difference there. But If Pink had just taken one or two more end of game scoring cards, denied them from Iello, that could have shifted that whole game. That one camp card gave Iello an extra like 20 points just from the board position, plus the fact that that territory card stopped the end of game scoring for Pink. So, you know, just that one camp card could have made possibly enough of a difference. But that's Bunny Kingdom. I don't like to talk about how much I like games, but this game's a game that since like Gen Con we've played a lot. I feel like it's very interesting. I feel like there's a lot going on in there. And it's even more fun when you're playing with other people and not just against yourself. So until next time, keep on adventuring.